Morning, Palmer from Bank to Trade. It's July 18th. It's about 6 o'clock in the morning, and getting a lot of questions about, how can I find stocks in the morning? Where can I scan? I've got a small account. I don't want to spend a lot of money or any money to just get a jump on things. All right. One of the scanners that I use is the one with Thinkorswim through Schwab owns them now. And I'm going to go through and show you all uh, how I use this scanner. I use a couple of different scanners because they're all a little different. The one in Thinkorswim, it can be a little bit, if you're just starting out, there's a lot of buttons. Okay, so I'm going to try to let's shorten that learning curve for you. And this is there's no fee to use this if you download their platform. You come into your scan tab and you hit Scan Hacker, or excuse me, Stock Hacker, and you're going to see a few filters that may be preset, and you can add filters with using the stock selector and option fundamentals or studies or patterns. Okay, the more you put in here, the more you're going to narrow down what you're looking for. I only use two. Okay, I only use two, and they are in the stock filter. When you put these in, the stock will come up, and you'll see back volume, beta, bid size, all this stuff. I'm just using the mark and the volume. That is all I use. I'm taking this one out of here. You take these off by clicking the X, and the minimum I have is 75 cents for your stock minimum and maximum. I keep maximum blank because I look at everything. The earlier it is in the day, I have lower volume. This should be about 1,000. And what this is going to do, it's got to have a minimum of 1,000 shares traded pre-market. And I'll go over that a little more too. Now here it says show 1,000 stocks. That's a lot, okay? But you might have some lower volume stock that might be getting an upgrade or a downgrade that only has a few shares traded, but it might be big enough news where you might want to take a look at it. Okay, these column headers right here. This is, you select those by clicking this little gear symbol right here. Excuse me, I have to stretch this out a little bit. That's because this is off screen. This gear symbol right here, you see where it says customize and no sorting. If you click customize, you can add all of these things you want to up into the column headers. Like if you wanted your doji candle, you can add that and it'll show you what doji pattern is showing up. Okay, don't look at that. And you can also use custom quotes. All right, if you've written a script or some kind of code, you can name it, add it in here, and it'll add it to the column header. All right, and you can arrange these. You just click it and you add it, and there it is. Whatever that is, it's going to show up for you. Okay, don't want it. Sorry about that. So we're going to get rid of that, and you can arrange these in any order you want. Also, you can take sector and move it up, and it's going to put sector wherever I just moved it to, right here. All right, I like it to be on the end, how I look at things. Okay, now if we scan this, we're going to get 1,000 stocks. All right, or 915. It's giving us, so this is telling us there are 915 stocks that are at least 75 cents and have 1,000 shares traded. Okay, now what does this mean? What is this showing you? All right, I have my action column set to yellow, and I have 4 charts up. So I have a grid that's showing me the daily, the 1 minute, the 10-minute, and the 2-hour. So when I see this TLO, oh, it's up $1.87, I'll click on this right here, and it's going to send it to 4 different charts. so I can see those time frames all at once. I can see where the chart has been in the past, where it might be going in the future, everything. So have your grid set up so you can see all this quick. All right, that's the way I do things. All right, now I have the number of shares up here because I can automatically see if it's a low float, like T-low, kind of, XPON, yeah, SVRE, low float, IH, well not H, but SSONM, low float. All right, so I can see how big that stock is. That's important, really important. I have the hard to borrow, easy to borrow. Schwab does not have a lot of borrows, but I just want to see that. That's my thing. I want to see if I can short it. Usually the large caps are. Some of the smaller ones maybe if they have a lot of shares. These are going to be hard to find in Thinkorswim. Got the symbol. This is your little news button. The last is, or this is the column about what's been happening. If there's a yellow dot here, that means it should have a news release. News release here, ATHE. It's moving, but there's no news with it. All right, that's why they're blank. If there's a news release, I will look at these. Okay, if it's up enough. Now, the last is where it closed with the previous session, regular session close. All right, this is 4:30 Eastern Time. T-low closed at 121 yesterday. All right, the mark is where it is right now. This is where it's trading pre-market. Mark change is the mark minus last. Okay, so right now from the close yesterday, it's up $1.93. BZAI right now from the close yesterday, it's up 328. All right, mark percent change. You can add all these. This is the percent change from yesterday. This is the volume that it's getting pre-market. So high volume is where you want to be. Volume percent change, this is something for me. Don't worry about it. I have the sector and the industry. All right, now, so what is this telling you? All right, this is telling you that TLO is gapping up 158% from the close yesterday. All right, this is telling you VVPR is gapping up 17 or 15.77% from yesterday. Coming down, you have the gap downs. All right, YHC is down 63% from the close yesterday. Yesterday it closed 657. Right now it's 240. What's going on? You want to check it out? Check it out. Microfloat. Little arrows in the way, but this is 1 million shares. Okay, so that's how it works. That's the scanner. But you have to continuously click the scan button. It's not going to do it for you automatically. So it's been a few minutes that have gone by, so this might go up a little bit. So now there's 933 because I've been running my mouth. All right. So, but 1,000 stocks might be too much for people to look at. You can go to 500 and you might want to only limit stuff that's moving pre-market with 25,000 shares. Okay. Scan it. You're going to have less because you're narrowing down your parameters that you want to see stocks. You don't like stocks under $10, but you put a minimum of 10 in. Now what do we have? 118. Now that they're all going to be at least $10 with at least 25,000 volume. You're getting 500 stocks. Okay, now you can arrange these columns however you want to. You want to go shares, which is the shares outstanding. This is not the float. I believe this is the shares outstanding. It's a little bit different than the actual float, but it gives you a ballpark idea. They're all going to be reporting a little bit different because when the shares outstanding is the shares locked up in retirement accounts or shares that can't be sold, blah, blah, blah. The float is what you and I are available to trade. A little bit different. The shares outstanding is always going to be a little bit higher. Okay, so now what you can do, if you click on shares, you can arrange these columns from lowest to highest. Click on it again, it goes from highest to lowest. Here's NVIDIA. Okay, you want to put these in alphabetical order, click on symbol. A through Z. All right, you want to go Z through A if you're one of those people, Z through A. All right, I do this and on and on and on and on and on. Volume, who's got the most volume? SBET. All right, I do things by mark percent change because this is giving me the gap. This is gapping up 21%. This is gapping down 30%. Okay, so really quick, That's all you have to do. But you have to manually click scan. All right, you can, if depending on what you look for, depending on what you trade, if you like the low floats, you have to click this almost every minute because stuff can pop in at the drop of a hat. And the way the low floats move, it can open at $1 and you're doing something else, and 2 minutes later it's up to $3. It's up to you how you want to use this. Okay, now what you're going to see that happens is if you have, sometimes this might hang up on you. All right, if you go here, we hit scan, now we have 950. What you're going to see, if you hit the scan button and it's like searching, 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 and nothing's happening, come back up here. Instead of the volume of 9,000, make it 950, or make this a different number. Just change the numbers in the stocks you want to show or the amount of volume, and it'll kick back in. So because for whatever reason, um, it just gets hung up. All right, so change the volume aspect. Now this right here is saying there's 950 of 961 because I reduced this. All right, so this is why, okay, I want to see all those because I'm missing, there's 11 stocks I'm not seeing. All right, so I need to push my number up for my parameters, and now I'm going to get all of those because I'm showing all the stocks. Now, over 1,000, it might say, hey, that's a lot of tickers you're looking for. Let's reduce that. 1,000 is a lot. Okay, I like to, see what's out there, and I will, I'm not going to go through 1,000 news things, but if there's something that catches my eye, I might take a look at it. Now, this is early. Okay, so as you get closer to the bell, this is going to potentially say 2,000 or 3,000 stocks. So what you might want to do is increase the amount of volume that has come in closer to the bell to reduce this number, because you're going to have too much. All right, because the closer we get to the bell, things get more active and the more things are moving. Okay, so up in here, what I forgot to mention, you have more filters up here. There you can filter out things. I have things I have selected for. If you want to click all symbols, that's going to give you everything. It's going to give you future stocks, ETFs, everything. Mine is just set for stocks. That's all I'm interested in. Intersect with. What you can do, you can intersect with some predefined parameters in here. You can scan within the S&P 500, 400. I believe you can just scan within the NICE or the NASDAQ for what's moving. I just have all stocks. What I have excluded is OTCs. Okay, I have, there's, and now OTCs can't trade pre-market, I believe, but I don't want to see anything. So I have taken all those out, and it's in here somewhere where you find it, but I have excluded all OTC stocks. So there it is right there. Don't want to see those. So I'm excluding all those, and I'm excluding the futures and everything else within here with these. So that's, in a nutshell, that's it. But remember, you have to manually click this button. You see a Bazai up 291. Ooh, let me go look at the news. All right, so when I have this populated, when I click on my action column here, I have the news up also in a window so I can see what's going on. TOS doesn't have everything, but it's got enough to get you going for free. All right, because I'm trying to, put this out there for people that are just getting started. They have small accounts. They want to see what they can do. What's this trading thing all about? I don't have a lot of money. This is free. Okay, this is all done for free with TOS. So check it out. If you have questions, drop me a line, what have you. But again, put your filters in here. I only use two, mark and volume, and I have these columns up here, and that's what I go with. But again, you have to scan. You have to scan. You have to scan. All right, you have to manually hit that. All right. So I hope this helps out. Follow me. Drop me a line. When you get into this, you always want to trade smart. All right, you guys have a good day. A few things that I forgot to mention is, well, if you've got a scan set up, is what if you want to save that? Okay, really important. Come over here. and to this middle drop down menu, and you simply click on Save Scan Query, and you are going to have this window open up, and you can call it anything you want to. Okay, so the next day or next morning or later in the day, you just come up here and you click Load Scan Query. You're going to have another menu pop up, and you just find that scan query that you created and you load it right up. Okay, another thing is if you want to save this as a watch list, whatever your results are, you come in here and you simply click Save as Watch List and you give it a name. And you can follow that later, the next day, or throughout the day. Okay, lots of stuff that you can do in here. One thing you want to do is you can have more than one scan query going up at a time. All right, but remember that the more tickers that you have in here that are running during the day, this is taking up a lot of resources. So if you have multiple scans up and they're running, your memory allocations for your computer are going to be getting chewed up, and you might have to change those for TOS. All right, so what you want to do is make sure you either simply shut the scan down, or if you want to have a few open, minimize the number of stocks you want to look at, because what's going on is during the day, all these are changing. All this data has to come in. All right, so either shut the scan down or minimize the number of tickers you have in there. All right, I just wanted to mention how to save the scans query, how to create it as a watch list, and make sure that you're not chewing up your resources in your computer by minimizing the number of scans you have on, or just completely shut the scan down. Okay, just exit the tab, close out the tab, and get back to your charts. All right, wanted to make sure we covered that also. All right, take care.